7:09 a.m. yesterday on the solstice, and it's set at 4:19 p.m. But also those same times today. So the difference in daylight was actually less than a second long. And as each new day of winter dawns, it will be just a few seconds longer each day. And many of us celebrated the solstice last night and actually watched the sunset over the backyard spiral during our spiral labyrinth walk. It was truly magical. So even though we can't perceive the light coming back yet, the day's growing longer yet, the sun is now slowly making its way towards the full warmth and light of summer. So today we honor the cozy cocoon and also the struggle of these dark nights, and we celebrate the light. So, I would like to light our chalice, and I would like to invite Dash Oaks up. Oh, and also we're calling in the directions. You're right. So we're gonna light our chalice. This
Can still do it
as the last light lit. We're gonna have you light as the last light lit. So you can go sit down again. I will call you up in a moment. And instead, I just want to tell you that this chalice is the one we used downstairs with the families. It was in the center of our solstice spiral last night, and it sat there all night, soaking in the starlight and the moonlight and the freezing cold air. And there was even some snow in here that has since melted. And that's gonna be part of our service today. Now I'm gonna turn it over to this woman who is very, she's gonna be okay. Linda's gonna be calling in the directions in a pagan tradition of honoring the elements and honoring the directions of our world and the elements that make it.
We didn't rehearse.
Can you tell?
Okay, we have two chalices to be lit, and so I'm gonna invite Dash to come back and light the chalice from downstairs. And now I will call forward the four people who are going to light the candles. John. We didn't rehearse any of this, but our spirits are totally into calling the four directions to energize our circle. Jeff. We call upon the yellow power of the east, yellow for light and air of the sun, the light for which we yearn at this darkest time of the year in the northern hemisphere. We call upon the red power of the south, the red of the sun, fiery warmth which we seek in this coldest time of our year. We call upon the blue power of the west, blue of the water and the emotion which we feel as we prepare to survive the varied emotions that we feel at this time. We call upon the green power of the north, green for the grounding energy of earth and her evergreens, showing us the everlasting life that goes on in the darkest and coldest of times. At our center, the center of our faith, we call upon the energy of our Unitarian Universalist faith as we light its symbol, our chalice.
Thank you, Linda. Now I'd like to invite one of our newest members, the poet Elizabeth Spring, to read her poem, In a Dark Time.
In a dark time, in a lonely time, the soul forgets to remember. We yearn for light, for a glimmer of goodness that radiates from this world. And then it comes, in smallest portions first. The wag of a dog's tail, the bowl of good soup, the call from a friend, and then, just now, I walked outside my door and stood in awe as the shaft of light bounced off the ruffled leaves and shot a ray of light right through my heart, breaking me open to all I'd forgotten.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit to recite our covenant together, and the words are printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And you can remain standing and pull out your hymnal for hymn number 73, Chant for the Seasons. A meditation, followed by a sound bath from Kevin and Sarah Bell. And if you feel moved or it feels necessary to move your body, as this lovely young person is, I invite you to stretch and just flow with the sound of the gongs, maybe like snowflakes or silent fairies on a beautiful, silent, snowy winter night.
Good morning. I invite you to close your eyelids against the daylight and exhale. Now please join me in taking a deep breath to the count of 5. And slowly exhale to the count of 5, moving deeper into your inner world. Imagine you are snuggling under a fluffy, warm blanket, under the covers of a peaceful and safe darkness. Plenty of air, but the chaos of the world is hidden. There are no demands, projects, or persons to attend to. All stress and worry shall remain unseen. As we welcome the darkness, it unfolds us in a loving hush. Nothing to do but rest and replenish. There is space in the velvety darkness, and our intuition and inner voice are easily accessible. There are no distractions, only the awareness that we are alive and our lives have worth. Slowly breathe in. Slowly breathe out. We allow our covers to fall away and stand beneath an expansive black sky. All is peaceful and calm. Gazing up, we see the first pinprick sparkle of a star, tiny but brilliant. Slowly breathe in. Slowly breathe out and make a wish upon this first star. What would you like to welcome into your life in the coming new year? Looking up, we watch the reveal of another and then another twinkling light, sparkling connections to the infinite breadth of the universe. We know this beauty is just one of the gifts we get to enjoy, being part of the divine tapestry. Slowly breathe in. Slowly breathe out. For here on the horizon comes the dawn. The light quietly, eagerly rises, merging with the darkness, and a path becomes illuminated. With replenished spirits and refreshed eyes, we can see where our inner knowing wants to lead us, to our highest good, and into the glow radiating from the beloved, supportive community which surrounds us. Slowly breathe in. Slowly breathe out. And gently open your eyes and look around you. Witness to the constant, bright, loving energy that is here.
Everyone just took the longest breath of your winter so far. Each week, we place love at the center of our time together. Downstairs, we share a rose, or a bud, or a thorn. And we hold space for each other's struggles, and we celebrate each other's excitement. This is how we care for each other. This is how we create community. This is how we bring our light to this space and to the world. So this next part is our joys and concerns. We invite you to come to the altar on this side, drop a stone in our bowl of water, which is not here. So we're gonna drop it in this chalice of melted snow. And we ask you to refrain from making announcements and to keep it brief. So anyone who would like to come, and if you would like to share online, you're welcome to put it in the chat and I will remember to read it. All of your gifts, for your gifts of time, your gifts of presence, your gifts of play, your gifts of laughter and joy, and your gifts of treasure. We promise to use this wisely and well. So, I would like for all of the children who are part of this play to take your places, please. We have created a play together that I'm calling Solstice Light. It involves many brains and many voices. No, you're good. Anywhere. Yeah. So, once upon a time, because everything in the sun happened at one time or another, there was a village in a forest. Imagine trees and snow and houses. Surrounded by trees and rocks and cliffs, and those caves in the far corner of the forest were full of wolves and foxes. And amongst the people and animals, there was also a trickster. And he's so tricky that we cannot see him at the moment, but you will know when you see him. This trickster was old Anansi. Some of you may have heard of him. He comes up in many folk tales and stories from around the world, and he is very well known. I think I spot him now. Oh, maybe it's a trick of the light. I can't quite tell, but he's known for his cunning and intellect. He can outsmart the smartest and the most cunning animals in the forest. Just look at that cunning smile, and his ridiculous hat, and his twinkling eyes. That is Anansi, and we've got to keep an eye on him. Now, the people of the forest, they were a simple people. They harvested maple sap in the late winter and mushrooms in the autumn. And come wintertime, they hunkered down for the big snows that shut them in, sometimes for weeks at a time, under a blanket of snow. When the sun set earlier and earlier each night, they lit their fire, and they toasted their nuts, and they told stories and played games.
It was on one such night that a traveler wandered into the village. She had a light spring in her step and a smile on her face. She made her way to the first house, and with a distinctive pattern of rapping, she knocked on the door. The unfamiliar rhythm of the knock took the family by surprise. They slowly opened their door just a crack to see who could be making such a noise.
Do you have any light that you can share with me? I lost my way in the woods. Can you help me? We do not have any light to share.
So the traveler knocked on the next house again with her unique knocking rhythm.
Do you have any light to share? I have lost my way in the woods. Cannot find my way. Can you share some light with me? We do not have any light.
Now the people looked around their house at their candles burning low and their fire in the hearth of their cook stove, and they knew they had to make it through this long, dark winter. And they didn't know if they could share with this stranger. Besides, how does somebody share light anyway? So the traveler continued on her way. She came over to this house and knocked on that door.
Do you have any light? I have lost my way in the woods and can't find it again. Do you have any light to share? I'm sorry, I do not have any light to share.
So she ventured further into the forest where the animals and fairies and gnomes lived. She came to the home of a kind-looking old gnome.
We're very excited this particular gnome is back in the sanctuary with us today. And the traveler knocked on his door.
Do you have any light to share? I left my way in the woods and cannot find it again. Can you share any light with me?
I'm sorry, I do not have any light to share.
She knew that the spry little elf lived somewhere in these woods, and she thought maybe he would help her. He could often be heard playing his music or humming a tune, and she soon heard him a little ways down the path.
Oh, a musical elf we found in the forest. Would you please stand with your pointy ears?
Do you have any light to share with me? I lost my way in the woods and cannot find it again.
I don't have any light to share.
Oh, poor traveler. She's visited so many homes and knocked on so many doors. She was feeling very discouraged. She tried to find the fairies that lived in the meadow. Maybe over here. Do you want to meet fairies? Okay, great. And one last time she answered, and maybe everybody could help the fairies answer this time. One more time she asked.
Do you have any light to share? I lost my way in the woods and cannot find it again.
And the fairies said, you've collected a piece of gold from the fairies. Thank you. Is that for the traveler? Maybe.
Finally, she found herself at the den of a pack of wolves after she wandered the woods a little bit. Now, ordinarily, she would steer clear of wolves, but knowing how hungry they could get in the winter. But she was getting desperate. She peered into the dark cave where the wolves lived, and they slowly emerged, one by one.
Who goes there? Hope it's a ribeye.
I loved her.
Now hold on. It looks Suddenly,
A knight from the village with a long sword and a sturdy shield leapt from behind a rock.
I've come to take. I've come to. I've come to take the light I had been stolen.
The wolves looked at each other in confusion.
I know you're hiding it somewhere. I'll find it.
look at that mighty knight. He only just became a knight this morning because the other knight is sick, and so we're very happy that we have this fill-in knight today. Oh, and the wolves respond.
Chill out, little human beetle. Our cave is pretty dark. This is not the light you're looking for.
Got any dinner? Hang on. We don't have your light. We can't make the fire like you humans. We keep warm with our fur and our play, our stories and our jokes.
But the knight knew that it was somewhere, so he searched their cave, calling out, "I will save the day!"
We should really share our resources. Well, I think we should probably go look for this light she says is missing. I bet we can find it. Our noses are 2,000 times better than these silly humans, and our hearing is so much better. Our superior hunting will find that.
And the traveler decided to come with this wolf pack. She had looked too long to stop now, so they traveled through the forest, looking and searching for this light that had maybe been stolen or lost. And eventually, they came upon an interesting character over here.
Ahoy there, whoop. Ahoy there, lost are you?
Highlighting mishap. Pause.
Absolutely not. We know exactly where we are.
And the traveler says, "We're searching for the light that has gone out."
Well, I might have something you're looking for, but it depends on who's asking and what you want to do with it. I was watching this here traveler as she made her rounds in the village and forest. I have to say I was not impressed with the villagers. These people are stingy. They have plenty of light to share, but they just don't know it. So I decided to teach them a lesson.
Everybody crouch down so everyone can see. Hold it up high.
I've gathered all of the light from the village and condensed it into this sphere. It's hilarious. All this light in one tiny space.
But all the people are cold and scared.
should be sharing resources. Like the communists.
Workers of the world unite!
For dinner!
Yeah, wait, for dinner. Never mind. The point is, the people need the fires and candles in these dark days.
I know, it was just a joke, I'll give it back. It's just learn to listen, and they have to learn to find the light that they can share. Do you think they can find the light? Do you think they know how to share it? Do you? How do you share your light?
Yeah, everybody, how do you share your light? Call it out. Smiles.
Telling jokes.
And telling jokes.
Hugs.
Singing. And hugs. Showing up. And showing up. Look at all of us. And break dancing and waving your hands. Silent applause. And holding hands. And illuminating. And laughing. And donating. All of the things that we donate and share. And clapping.
You know, I think these people are getting it. But it's easy to share. If you know how to do it, you have to remind the villagers. They have this same light inside of them.
Meanwhile, back in the village, the people were struggling. It was so dark and so cold in their houses. They huddled together under blankets. Some of the children whimpered and their parents worried. Even the mighty hunters and the clever elves were feeling uncertain as they watched their candles sputter. And again, they heard a now familiar rhythm ringing through the streets. The traveler was back. She knocked on their doors and drummed out her rhythm in the streets. She gathered all of the townsfolk and all the animals and all the gnomes and the fairies and the elves. They all came out of their homes and in the trees and met in the village green. Everybody needs fucking music.
And the traveler started telling them a story.
She proceeded to tell the story of the simple people who lived in the forest, who harvested maple sap and mushrooms, who burned candles in the dark months, and told stories around their fires.
And as she spoke, the people felt a little warmer. They looked around at their family and their friends. Go ahead, look around. And they started to see the twinkles in each other's eyes. And they saw how their smiles crinkled at the edges of their mouths and the edges of their eyes. And they watched the shining joy of the children. And they watched the glow of pride of parents and grandparents. This time together is so precious. And they basked in its glow. And they started clapping and tapping out the rhythm of the traveler. The musical elf. And everyone started to feel very warm. And they realized villagers, and that musical elf, and that gnome, and those fairies, someone amongst them turned that rhythm of that traveler into a song. And we're gonna sing it today. The words are printed in your order of service, and I'm gonna sing the first line, and you're gonna repeat it back to me, and then we'll all sing it. We'll do call and response for the first time through. We'll sing it 3 times through together, and then we'll sing it with harmony and with our soloist, Bina, until it feels like we've created even more light in this space. And now Linda will release the directions and the elements associated with each one.
We thank the power of the north, green power, evergreen, always present in us to ground us through all that we face. We thank the blue power of the west, blue power of the emotions we carry within us, emotions which carry us through. We thank the red power of the south, red power of the warmth which we find within ourselves. We thank the yellow power of the east, yellow power of the light we carry within ourselves at all times. And together we extinguish our chalice, but not its light, that we take with us out into the world, sharing it with those we encounter on our journey. Blessed be.
So before we rise to